The night was dark, somewhat darker with the knowledge of terror that lay in wait. Sharewood pressed around them, dense shrub, ragged mist that tickled the ground and hugged the tree buttresses, tendrils of ghostly white reflecting the arcane light of the moon. The first line of squires led the convoy, cutting through the undergrowth with long, thick blades. Behind them came flame-bearers, then the 5 knights of Nottinghamshire: Sir Robert, Sir Richard, Sir Jamie Lawrence, Sir Ryan, and Sir Alan, with Father Mallory and his band of priests following, their thuribles spilling incense into the cold air. They found a small fire already burning not far from the narrow lane. 3 stones ringed a pale flame, as if someone had set a welcome and stepped away. The knights slowed. Jamie rode his black destrier at the rear, eyes sweeping the dark for rear threats. The felled log by the fire tugged a memory loose, Uncle Kenny teaching him to wake before dawn, to dance with spirits so the body might learn its limits. He recalled the training that made him swift and merciless, taught him that knowledge could be taken from the air if one learned how to see. As the knights dismounted to inspect the cottage ahead, a woman stepped from the shadow near the small fire. She was wrapped in a grey cloak, hair dark and damp from the mist, and the light from the flame set silver on her cheekbones. When she moved, a clinging hush seemed to follow. The mist curled as if acknowledging her. Mercy looked no less human for it. Her hands were plain, her cloak practical. And yet, there were signs no mere traveller could wear. The mist lingered at her hem, a faint, wet gleam on her lashes, and her eyes held a light not wholly of this world. "You who were on the frozen field," she said without preamble, voice thin and bright. "You carry heat yet. Take shelter. But know this, the frost you fought was a warning, not the harm itself. Something older wakes to the north. If you follow the trail, you will find a place where the earth sings bad songs." Sir Robert exchanged a look with Father Mallory. "Who are you?" Jamie asked, testing rather than accusing. The woman inclined her head. "A keeper of ways. Call me Mercy, if you will. I have a map that answers questions your tongues cannot. I will lend it, but such things ask of the bearer a price." "Choice," Father Mallory answered for them, as if finishing a lesson. Mercy's eyes flicked through their faces, not unkindly. She offered no more then. Before they could question her further, she had folded back into the mist, a rounding silence that left the little fire smoking, and their minds oddly steadied. They approached the cottage itself with caution. The structure looked long abandoned. Shrubs crowded the walls, and the bolted door hung stubborn and old. Jamie kicked the door, the wood splintering with a cry, and the knight surged inward. 2 red eyes greeted him in the dark, and a shadow dove with terrible speed. Jamie's blade met flesh and he cleaved through it. A torch flared and revealed a body contorted into 2 halves, a face split and still twitching. Torches jutted forward, priests intoned prayers, and the men pressed deeper. Then the stench rose, a repugnant, iron sour rot that made hands fly to noses. Jamie saw the ceiling and froze. 8 pairs of red eyes perched above, crouched like spiders waiting to drop. "They are above. Look above," he shouted. Men scattered. A squire was snatched from his torch as a creature lunged, serrated teeth finding throat. The room became a storm of steel and shrieks, knights falling on the beasts as they dropped. After the slaughter, they found no master within, only the scattered carcasses and the smell of old fear. Father Mallory explained what the men suspected. Masters are cunning. They often flee rather than sacrifice their purpose. He handed each knight a silver knife fashioned by the swordsmith and said, "Silver hurts them. It will burn their flesh and rend their will." Sir Ryan ordered the squires to gather and burn the bodies. Sir Jamie, Sir Richard and Sir Alan would walk the perimeter. A few other riders joined in the background, a mention and a half of reinforcements, but the core company remained their 5. The night tightened as they fanned out. Torches stuttered. Nervous jesting thinned into tense silence as the lane ahead heaved and something rose from the earth. At first a heap of loose dirt, then 2 pale hands, then a figure taller than any man. He stood fully upright, long black hair matted, cadaverous skin, fangs bared. Red light shone in demonic eyes. He smiled as he walked toward them. Sir Alan charged like a fool, and the master moved with a speed that devoured distance. He appeared at Alan's throat and flung him like a rag doll. Steel met the creature, and the master darted, squeezing the life breath from Sir Richard, and then the air from the room. Jamie lunged for his friend, and in that blink, the master had Jamie in his grasp, hand at his throat. Breath thinned, the world narrowed. Panic seared a path along Jamie's ribs. He remembered Uncle Kenny's lesson, call to the spirits in your darkest hour. The memory was a thread, and Mercy's presence, the mist she left in her wake, came to him like an answer. A tendril of vapor slid from the surrounding trees, coalescing into a nearly fingered curl that knifed through the smoke and settled at Jamie's boot. He fumbled at his belt with hands that did not want to obey, and felt leather and metal, the silver dagger Father Mallory had given him. It had not been there a breath before. Now it sat in his palm, as if placed by another hand. A shrill scream split the night as the master writhed. The master staggered, singing against his skull. The master staggered, one hand clawing at his burning flesh. He hauled his sword, and with a clean, terrible blow, cut through neck and bone. The head rolled, and the tall body slumped. For a long moment, the men simply breathed. Father Mallory proclaimed the truth to the stunned circle. This is a master vampire. They stood in the hush that follows a storm, blood and ash cooling at their boots. Sir Robert embraced Jamie. Sir Richard and Sir Alan leaned on one another. Their relief was small and raw. Mercy watched from the ring of trees, a pale silhouette at the edge of the wood. For a heartbeat, Jamie saw her eyes catch the moon, those same strange, luminous depths, and then she was gone, swallowed by the mist as if she had never been. They burned the bodies and the thatch until the cabin was smoke and ash, then rode back to the king's victory celebration. They limped and drank in the glow of tavern light. Songs rose and fell, the city cheering those who returned. Jamie lay back at last, whole with wounds and honest ache. A humble man among his brothers. He had killed a master and had no desire for laurel beyond the circle of those who had stood with him. Yet in his sleep, the memory of Mercy's eyes sat like a promise. A road not yet taken. A forest that stirred when the world tilted toward ruin. Far to the north, a shadow watched. Somewhere else, a name whispered. Sofia Harker. And in time, the world's crooked balance would ask for crowns, for choices, for a leader not yet revealed. For now, the knights had survived. The forest, it seemed, had taken note.